This is a U.S.-China Media Brief produced by the UCLA Asian American Studies Center. The U.S.-China Media Brief features interviews with experts and other prominent individuals involved in studying and documenting the dynamic and ever-evolving relationship between the United States of America and the People's Republic of China. I'm Russell Leong, Director of the U.S.-China Media Brief of the UCLA Asian American Studies Center. Our purpose is to provide a more balanced view of U.S.-China relations for the U.S. media through our media brief and website. Now at UCLA, as I said, I work on the UCLA U.S.-China Media Brief, and we're small, but I think we have sort of high hopes in trying to influence the American media in terms of having the American media have a more balanced view of U.S.-China relations. I'm wondering what we can do, as a fairly small organization, but in a prominent university, to work with others and to actually create that balance. And we're trying to do it in a fairly unique, succinct way to make it easy for American media, because people are so used to just Googling something on the internet. So I'm wondering whether you had any ideas or suggestions for us.
I think the historical background would be very important. I think many of, when I discuss this with many American friends, I say two things. That is, your reports, for example, about human rights, about these things. One thing is you lack historical perspective. You don't put them in the current situation into the picture of a history. You can see, if you know the kind of situation of China, say 20 years ago, and you look at China today, you know how far we have traveled. If you don't have that, you can only see the problems. You don't have a comparison. The other is the proportion. Actually, if I said that to many people, I said for example, the Chinese intellectuals. Now, before 1978, from 1949 to 1978, yesterday I read a piece on the Financial Times in the Chinese. It's about the 60 years of China, and the author listed saying that during that period of time there had been about more than 400 political movements. On the average, about 3 or 4 a year. Now, for political movements, actually, it's criticism of intellectuals, mostly. So, the intellectuals in China, from 1949 up to 1978, had been the target of criticism, of oppression, in a sense, that is mental oppression, for so many years. And when the reform and opening came, and there was no longer any nationwide political movement, in a sense. So that would mean that a sort of load lifting from the minds of the intellectuals. It affected not millions, but tens of millions of intellectuals. Now, that's 1%. If you don't have that in mind, you just look at the dissidents, say 5,000 behind the bars, you don't have a proportion there. You will see that I don't mean to say that these people should be put behind bars, but on the other hand, if you lose that proportion, you can't see things clearly. You do. So that's why they wouldn't see the things as we would, because we went through the whole thing. And I think we are more in a position to say how free we are today in comparison with all the past years. So this is the sort of thing that that will be useful to make the journalists see these two things, and then, well, we don't control their report. Then they can approach the things from their point of view. But this is the kind of background, if you can provide them with that, it will be very, very useful.
The preceding copyrighted program is a property of the University of California, Los Angeles. All rights reserved. It may be used freely for educational and not-for-profit activities. For other uses or to make an inquiry, please contact the Asian American Studies Center at UCLA.